Hey guys, welcome back to BeyondMilestones podcast. It's your host Daniela Owusu. Thank you guys so much for joining me for another podcast episode. I hope you guys are having an amazing day so far. Today I just wanted to do a quick and short pod episode on journaling. You guys know that I love journaling. I have been journaling since 2019, literally every single day, morning and night. I have missed a couple of days through that journey, but since 2019 to 2025 I have been journaling. I have all my journals. Ask me what did someday, June 15th 2021, I can tell you what happened. It's a fun time. I have been journaling so much and it has honestly changed my life, truly changed my life. I feel like I can have deeper conversations. I know more about myself now. It's just really crazy, and it's so weird how putting pen to paper can change your life that way. But I just love journaling, guys, and I talk about it way too much. And so I was just like, how can I keep talking about journaling and how everyone should just journal and pray and not actually tell you guys how to journal or why it's so important? So that's literally what today's episode is going to be about. But before we get into the podcast episode, if you guys would like to join this podcast community, learn and grow from one another, you should follow the podcast on Instagram and TikTok. I have so much fun posting on them and just sharing little thoughts that I have and things like that. So definitely go give them a follow. But yeah, so let's get into this podcast episode. So journaling, guys, like I said, it has changed my life. I've been a journaler since 2019, and I just cannot recommend any other way truly to get your thoughts out but journaling. It is one of my favorite ways. Some people say that journaling can be a substitute for CBT, so cognitive behavioral therapy. If you're someone that can't pay for it, can't afford it, and something like that, and you just really need someone to talk to, people say that journaling is almost as effective as CBT. Granted, you won't really be able to hear someone give you advice and things like that, but you are able to work through hard thoughts and you are able to work through traumatic moments and events. A lot of research has shown that even though it is really hard for people to put pen to paper and experience that journaling experience through maybe a traumatic experience, it has shown to be effective. And so just saying, get a journal, start writing. It is really not as hard as you may think it is, I promise. And so I'm going to walk you through how to journal and just different ways to journal. Let's get into that. So with the different ways to journal, I feel like journaling can look different for every single person out there. I know that people love more creative styles of journaling, like a junk journal or a scrapbook type of journal or a prayer journal, and those can look completely different from one person to the next. But you can put in as much effort as you want into it, as low effort as you want into it. No one is looking at this journal but you. I feel like it's such a beautiful thing that it's just a tool for you. You get to write whatever you want, express whatever feelings that you want. If you don't want people to know about those feelings, express them in your journal. Share that, get it out of you and put it in your journal, and it's just for you to look at, for you to look back on, for you to reflect on. It's all for you. That's why I truly love journaling. I feel like there are so many thoughts in my head that I'm just I feel like I can't share that with people. And I'm just you know what? I can share this with Jesus. I can pray about it. And I also want to let it out. So I'll pray and then I'll just journal about how I'm feeling, journaling about just all the things, and it's amazing. There are also people that love to journal by typing. I talked about this in a different episode, but sometimes when I am triggered or just super upset and maybe I don't have my journal, I'll sit and just type. I have this huge Word doc and I will just sit there and I will just type, and it'll be random stuff that just made me so mad, why is this happening to me, and it's just literally just typing, literally me just rage typing, and it's amazing. It feels so good to get things off your chest. And sometimes I'll write things in my journal that I would never ever say to somebody, but it's good to get that stuff out. You can't just shove that anger down. It needs to get out somehow, and journaling is a great way to do it. It's a great way. And it's free, kind of. It's free. So back to the different types of journaling, more creative ways of journaling. People have used those to express feelings and emotions, but they can also just be things to look back and remember. So I've seen people make junk journals where whatever happened that day. Like they'll put receipts in there, pictures, like Polaroids, just different fun stuff. I saw one girl put like a bottle cap in her junk journal. You just are able to be free and just be creative and artsy, get your washi tape, get your markers, and just like write. Scrapbooking also sounds super fun. I've seen, if you guys need ideas, just literally go on TikTok and look these up and just junk journal inspo or journal inspo. And there's so many different journals that you can make that are different from your standard. Today, there are shadow work journals that people have where it's just a journal dedicated to kind of processing what goes on in behind the scenes of their brain, so like your subconscious. And so that's kind of what shadow work journaling is. You can find prompts about shadow work on Pinterest, and they'll be like, when was a moment in your childhood where this happened? You can journal about that, which will lead to other thoughts. And there's different topics that you can do shadow work journaling on, and it's just so cool. I think shadow work is like a deep part of journaling. So if you're new to journaling, you don't have to start with shadow work. You can start with other things, but there's just so many different things out there, and I just think that it's something beautiful to try. And it's so cool because for me personally, like looking back from my journals in 2019, I'm like, wow, I am not that person anymore. I've grown so much. Like things that used to bother me in this year don't bother me now. Things that used to bother me like months ago where I was like ranting in my journal about it. Now I'm just like, oh, that happened. Like, okay, So you're able to see your growth in a different way. I feel like you can see growth through pictures and you can see the change through pictures, but with journaling, you're able to see your mindset, your mentality. Where were you 3 years ago to where you are now with your mindset? What bothered you? What made you tick? What things were you proud of? What things are you proud of now? Like, how has that been changing? And so you aren't able to see that in any other way besides journaling, in my opinion. And I think that's just such a cool part of it. It's just like something just so different and so cool. So if this has not influenced you to start journaling, like please journal. It's life-changing. It truly is. There are some studies that I looked at where journaling can lead to like having lower blood pressure and having more healthier habits, like being less stressed. Like people use journaling for stress management. They use it to express themselves, and therefore life feels a little bit lighter, especially with gratitude journaling. People's lives change when they bust out a gratitude journal. And I just think that's amazing because you're literally sitting there you're literally sitting there challenging your brain to come up with things that you're grateful for, or working through prompts that challenge your brain to work through things that you're happy about or parts of your life that are content. And I've talked about this before where it's like our brains kind of just always go to that negative side of things. Like someone's like, hey, how's classes? You'll probably be like, good. And then they'll be like, oh, really? Like, how are classes really? And you'll probably be like, maybe they're looking for something else. And normally most of us, probably me, would go like, oh, well, this one class, and then you just start going down that rabbit hole instead of being like, like it's actually fine. I have like one friend that like does that, which I think is like so funny now that I'm like thinking about it. But gratitude journaling really challenges you to do so. Not a lot of us can immediately go to that positive thing, and that's fine. Gratitude journaling is there for us. It's there to help us be able to do that. And so many different types of journaling. I highly recommend just dabbling in one. Maybe take a month and just like try one journal. You can go to Dollar Tree and get journals if you don't want to commit to like a nicer journal from Marshall's, which is probably maybe $10. But if you're like, no, like I'm not gonna, just like start with like a Dollar Tree journal. Like some of them are cute. Okay, you never know, but I know that people love to do like a voice memo journal. I think that's super cool where you're like talking it out and talking out your feelings and talking out your day and stuff like that. I think that's also super cool. And then, like I said, people do the typing thing, whatever works for you, but get your feelings out. It is just, life feels so much lighter and better when you are able to journal and let things out. So this is for all of you who are like, okay, like she keeps talking about journaling, but I don't even know where to start. I don't know how to journal. Like, what am I supposed to do? Guys, I literally have a beginner's guide to journaling for you. So I think that with journaling, just start with 5 minutes. Like, there's something called the 5-minute journal. I just got it for one of my friends, and she just told me that she uses it every day, and that literally brought me so much joy. But literally the 5-minute journal, you can buy it. If you don't want to buy it because it can be a little bit pricey, you can look up the prompts on Pinterest and just write the prompts like in a journal. Maybe that'll take 8 minutes, but start with 5 minutes. It'll be like, what are 5 things that you're grateful for? And you write them down. You literally follow the prompts. You can find different journals like this where they give you prompts. And so it's not all on you to like come up with things to write. It'll give you things to write. So start with 5 minutes. And if you need more guidance, start with a 5-minute journal or start with a prompt-led journal. After that, if you're like, okay, I can do 5 minutes of journaling, maybe move from prompt-led 5 minutes to promptless 5 minutes. Hey. And so you could start with, this is what happened today. That's how I started journaling, where I would just write down everything that happened that day from the minute I woke up to the minute I went to bed. I would just like, and this happened, and this person said this, and this happened this, and here this, and I ate this, and I would just literally write like what happened in my day. After 5 minutes was up, I would be done and just moved on. I didn't really think much of it. But I think that as you progress, as you start, adding more minutes maybe, and if you're journaling with like a promptless journal type, like you're just like going for it, it'll shift from I did this, this, and this to like these made me feel this way, and this made me feel this way. And you'll start to become more in tune with your feelings. And so once you start noticing that shift, I would lean into that. So lean more into your triggers, lean more into how you're growing and your thoughts and stuff like that, and less on I ate toast. Lean more into the feelings. And then once you gotta lean into that, then I say go for like those shadow work prompts, because the thing about the shadow work prompts is that they're really cool things that you would never really think about, but they're challenging your mind, they're challenging your brain to start digging a little bit deeper into your innermost thoughts and innermost feelings. And maybe after a couple of months of doing shadow work prompts, you'll start to immediately think about those prompts without even having to read it. Maybe something would happen and you'd be like, I think that stems from like something that happened to me as a kid, actually. Or I think that stems from me feeling like this all the time. And so maybe when this happened, I felt like that because of this, not because of that. And you'll just start like literally like psychoanalyzing yourself. And it's like so cool because you're able to just grow and become. It's fascinating. It's literally amazing. So get a journal and journal. I promise it is not that difficult. I have a ton of journal prompts on the podcast Instagram if you're interested. On TikTok, I have some journal prompts that are on there. You can find million gajillion prompts on Pinterest, like journal prompts for anxiety, journal prompts for feeling joy, journal prompts for feeling sad, like journal prompts for my mind is racing. You can find a journal prompt for anything and just go for it. I think that journaling has helped me with coping with like anxiety and stress. Whenever I am feeling anxious, I'll be like, what is that feeling? And a lot of the times I can't come up with it off the top of my head. And so I'll sit there and I'll journal and I will just start writing. And as I'm writing, more feelings will come out and more things will come out. And by the end of my journaling session, I'll be like, oh my gosh, I just wrote 10 pages. Like, how did I do that? And it's literally just like you just take off and you go. And then by the end of that, you're like, I feel so much better. I know a lot of people that use their journals as prayer journals. So everything that they write is like they're writing as prayers to God. And I think that is super amazing. Something that I want to try is something that I saw on TikTok where this girl did a more creative prayer journal where instead of just like writing, she separated her journal into different sections and slots and kind of like decorated it. And so like during that time she was decorating her journal, that was her spending time with Jesus, and she would write down her prayers on like note cards and stick them into these different sections. And it was just so beautiful and so creative and so cool. And I think it's like an awesome way to like be able to open back up that journal and see like, wow, like that prayer was answered. How cool is that, And so that's something I want to start, and I will definitely document that and I'll post it on like TikTok or something for you guys to see. But there's so many ways that you can journal. There's so many ways that you can process feelings and process emotions with journaling. And so whenever I'm on the podcast and I'm like, journal, meditate, like all these things, it's just a way to self-reflect. It's a way to dig deeper into who you are. Like, who do you want to become? Write that out, journal that out. 9 times out of 10, we're not going to be able to sit here and be like, this is who I want to become, like genuinely say that. When we're writing, different things are going to come up. And I say, like, when you're journaling, just let yourself go. Like, just write. Like, if you make mistakes, if you spell things wrong, just keep going. You know what you meant. You're the only one reading it. There's no pressure. It's so low stakes because it's for you. And so just let like if you lose your train of thought while you're writing, just write what the next thought is. Like sometimes I'll be like, I woke up and did this, and then I'll just be like, anyways, like, like just write what you want. No one's reading it but you. It's for you. It's a tool for you to use to get better, to grow as a human, to be more developed in your thoughts and in your feelings. And yeah, so that's really all that I wanted to say about journaling. I think it's such a powerful tool. I will post some more journal prompts on the Instagram if you guys would like. Let me know if you guys want journal prompts for specific things, like DM me and let me know. I'll put like a little box on Instagram, like story or something, so keep an eye on that. Just like if you know that you want something, you can just like drop it in there. I love just like putting those questions out there just for you guys to be thinking, and I love when you guys do like put stuff in there. I'm like, oh my gosh, like someone actually answered, like that's fun. But a lot of the times, like I'm just writing it for you, and I do love reading your responses. So if I like put that up there and you want to share what journal prompts you would love to see, like I would love to see that, and I would love to read it. I think that journaling is truly such a powerful tool that can help you become your best self, that can help you just navigate the in-betweens of life, that can help you just go through hard transitions and go through hard things. And so definitely try it out. If you need any help, let me know. I'm obsessed with journaling. If you can't tell, I basically talked about journaling for like 20 minutes now, so I'm gonna stop talking. But I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Bye guys.